Now, some residents of Westbury in Johannesburg have expressed anger that they were not invited to the stakeholder engagement with Acting Police Minister Firoz Cachalia. The minister is currently meeting with chosen community leaders at the Johannesburg Metropolitan Department headquarters in Sophiatown. This is a visit that follows a shooting in Westbury last month, which claimed the lives of 2 young people. In fact, Johannesburg Mayor Neria is currently briefing the media. Let's listen in.
Responsibility as parents to teach our children that crime does not pay. Lastly, City of Johannesburg as municipalities, we have a responsibility to intervene in sporting facilities, ensure that the sporting facilities in the area, ensure that children do have recreational facilities, and those facilities should be structured such that they are able to produce soccer players, netball players, swimmers, etc., etc. So that's what the city must then ensure that its sports department focus on. You know that the City of Johannesburg has also re-established what is called the Drug Action Committee, which has not been there for some time. Now it's in operation, it's in the mayor's office. We are now beginning to find other stakeholders to participate, so that through that structure we can also look at what other programs we should bring in those communities to fight the scourge of drug abuse and substance abuse. And basically that's where the meeting is going, and we should see more action coming from the police. There are successes already. They might not be at the scale at which we want them. In the morning we did get a brief that there were so many arrests, there were so many convictions, but we need to do more. And it's not only about arrests and conviction, it's also about a long-term strategy on how we deal with the substance abuse and drug abuse in our communities.
And mostly residents were also saying, perhaps, Mayor, this could just be a talk shop, because it's not the first time that you find government officials visiting this area and speaking to them. But here we are again, just in October, we saw more deaths happening in Westbury. So how are you going to make sure that this time around it's just not talking and actually changing things in Westbury?
Well, we made a commitment as the City of Johannesburg to implement bylaws, which we think it will assist us in reducing some of the impact, dealing with shops that are not licensed because some of the substances come through that, dealing with lolly lounges, almost said lollipops, so that we sort out those things ourselves as the City of Johannesburg. We've also agreed that there will be constant stop and search in the area to try and reduce the impact of guns and drugs in the area. So it requires that we all work together. Crime cannot be won by police alone. Communities must be part of it for us to win against gangsterism and drugs. And it's so unfortunate that the organized crime is now recruiting 12-year-olds to be distributing drugs. So it's a serious problem. It's bigger than we think. So all of us must put our hands and really, really fight this thing as much as we can.
Thank you so much for your time. That was Johannesburg Mayor Dada Morero, basically just telling us about some of the outcomes of the stakeholder engagement that they are having with leaders here in Sophiatown at the Johannesburg JMPD headquarters. We did see some community members also just coming here to say that they are unhappy that they were not invited to the stakeholder engagement. Must remember, the stakeholder engagement comes after we saw that mass shooting in Westbury, which claimed the lives of 2 people. And like the mayor saying that they need an approach that will work long term and nothing short term. Remember, the police commissioner did say that this year alone, they did manage to arrest at least 19 gang members. But like the mayor saying that arrests alone will not help in this, because now these gangsters are using even children to continue with this, and this is another concern. The mayor adding also there that they want to ensure at least there's playgrounds, there's recreational activities, the sports activities for children so that they can be occupied and not be part of the gangs that are in the area. And one thing also, the minister is expected to also give us a feedback. You must remember that the stakeholders meeting, the media thought they would be allowed in the meeting itself, but last minute we were told that we will not be part of this engagement. So we're waiting for the minister to also give us an update. I must tell you, I also spoke to some residents who thought they could form part of this engagement, but they were told that they cannot come in, and most of them were very unhappy with that, saying that they are the people on the ground. They are the people who always witness these crimes, who always witness these gang violence that is happening in Westbury, and they are very unhappy with the decision that was taken not to allow them in.
Neria, you asked a very crucial question, more so as you make mention of interacting with residents who are detailing and painting a picture of their day-to-day lives under the circumstances. You posed the question to the Joburg mayor, saying to him, how do we know that this is not just a mere talk shop, especially considering the climate of where we are, what happens next year insofar as elections are concerned, and really just getting to the bottom of this with a long-term plan for community members who are desperately looking for answers and solutions.
Yeah, definitely. And you need to remember, of course, that this is not the first time we're seeing the police ministry coming to address community leaders or even residents of Westbury. In 2018, the then Minister Begitele came to Westbury and promised the people of Westbury that there will be increased police visibility just to ensure that they fight this gangsterism in the area. He came back again in 2023, basically also promising the same, to say this is unacceptable. They need to deal with the gang violence ASAP as soon as possible. And I'm just looking to my side right now because the minister is actually making his way to us. So maybe bear with us right now as we try set him up next to the cameras just to get a view from him in terms of what came out of the meeting with those residents or those leaders that were in there. You heard the minister talking about, these leaders were very unhappy, some retelling their stories, and they went through a lot. And let's just dip in now. Atlanta Mate is just introducing the minister.
So I'm now going to hand over to the minister just to outline what today's visit is about and a way forward. Thank you. Minister, just to give us an overview of your visit here today. Just come closer, Minister. Closer, Minister. Just closer, yes. Thank you. So just to give us an overview on why we're here today.
I'm here with the two deputy ministers. I don't want to be reported to the Madlanga Commission, and I'm here with the MMC, Public Safety in Johannesburg. He's dressed very nicely, and also the National Commissioner, Provincial Commissioner, Senior Generals. We met. I had a presentation on the anti-gang violence strategy that we developed following my visits to the Western Cape with the Department of Justice, because I was accompanied by the Deputy Minister Andries Nel on those meetings. Came back, looked at what needs to be done, have revised our strategy, and I then subsequently indicated that we have a revised strategy. It has a lot of different elements, and the strategy, the government is allocated funding for the implementation of that strategy. The violence has intensified now in the parts of Gauteng, so we have to make sure that that strategy is implemented in all 4 provinces where the gang violence is growing. That's Gauteng, the Eastern Cape, KwaZulu-Natal, and the Western Cape. The implementation of the strategy is going to require constant attention. We will have to monitor whether the implementation of the strategy is achieving the results we're hoping for. The community was well represented here today. I indicated to them, we took a register of their names and contact details, that I want to maintain that contact. I hope that the community will build a community forum here. In the past, this community has produced great leaders, has established strong organizations, faith-based sporting organizations, and so forth. We're going to need those organizations to come on board. There is, in parts of, I think there is a trust gap. We have to breach that trust gap because the community has a major role to play. Of course, where there's high levels of violence and you're dealing with organized crime, people are reluctant to come forward. They're not prepared to testify in court, which makes it a little bit difficult to achieve convictions. But we have to fight this battle. I was told today that the mainly young boys who are being recruited are between the ages of 13 and 19. They're supposed to be in school. They're supposed to be looking forward to a bright future. But unfortunately, these communities are in a position where they feel marginalized. They feel that their issues around poverty, lack of opportunity, and so forth are not being properly addressed. But that's a problem across the country in all communities, although it's difficult to make that case to specific communities. So the message they got from me and the MMC, the 2 deputy ministers and the SAPS leadership is that we are committed. We want to make another effort at tackling this enduring problem. It's 2-3 decades. It goes back many decades, but it is now taking on a character that is very alarming because it involves the proliferation of guns. We've got to deal with that matter. I think the police have had a lot of success, but we still are not completely in control. And until we are, there's going to be these guns are going to get into the wrong hands, and then the problem of drugs. I think we need to go back to the drug plan that was adopted many years ago, to the drug master plan, to see how we can improve its implementation, because that is at the core of the devastation in our communities. The kind of drugs like cocaine that are coming into our communities across our borders, perhaps. There also we see drug labs being built in the country, but we see the presence also in the country increasingly of foreign drug lords, Mexicans, Colombians, and so forth. So we have to tackle this problem. That's why I'm here, and I indicated to the community that we're in this for the long haul. This is not a one-off meeting, and I'm hoping that we over time can get the results that the community deserves and we're hoping to achieve.
Thank you. Colleagues, are there any questions?
Okay, Minister, are you able to expand and explain what is this plan?
Yes.
Because somebody who's listening out there want to know,
Yes.
to see the police on the ground.
Okay. So the police are deploying increased resources. The National Commissioner just announced a further steps to strengthen the anti-gang units, which were established to deal with this problem of gang violence. Okay, but that's not sufficient. I think that the area of crime intelligence, strengthening of our detective services, so that we have increasing reliance on what's called intelligence-driven policing has to be a critical part of the strategy. The Commissioner agrees with that. That's in fact pillar number 1 of the strategy, based on 4 pillars. We need to get the other agencies in the criminal justice cluster working together with the police. So the SIU, the Asset Forfeiture Unit, and the NPA are involved in this initiative. It's as much an initiative of the South African Police Service in my ministry and the Ministry of Justice under Minister Kubai. We've also had important engagements with the Commissioner of the Revenue Service, Edward Kieswetter, and he's bringing the capabilities of the Revenue Service into this effort. It's very much part of the strategy that we are trying to implement. So more targeted, more focused, and those are capabilities that we're going to have to develop as well, where there are weaknesses, in order to get the results that we need, because this is organized crime. It isn't ordinary gang violence. These young people are being recruited by big businesses who have the support of lawyers, accountants. They're working across borders. They're bringing guns into the country. They're bringing dangerous drugs into the country. They have elaborate business structures. And so we need new capabilities to tackle this kind of problem.
Thank you. Any other question, colleagues? 2 more. Yeah, 1.
Thank you so much. Minister Pitso from Kaya FM.
Hi, Pitso.
Minister, I'm not sure, but police have been coming deployed to Westbury so many times. We're still seeing this. And you put it right there to say that this is a trust issue. And obviously we can't deploy police here for a long time. Have not you considered bringing the National Defence Force officers also to come and help or to work on this issue as well?
I do think this is a policing issue, and it's about strengthening the capabilities of the police to deal with a problem of organized crime, right? So I've said we need better intelligence, crime intelligence. We need to strengthen the capabilities of the detectives. We need better analytical capabilities, because as the Commissioner was pointing out in the meeting, you know, the kingpins are few. We need better targeted and focused strategies. I think the police are very good at high visibility strategies, at deploying large resources across the country, right? In every community across this country, there is a police station. There are police officers fighting crime every day. We're good at that. We're going to have G20 in a few weeks. I can say that I've had presentations from the police. I'm confident that the police will ensure that event, when the eyes of the world are on us, goes off without a hitch. We're good at that kind of thing. We did the World Cup very well. What we now need is to develop those capabilities for targeted, focused policing, to dismantle the whole sophisticated apparatus of organized crime. As I've said, they have the support of very clever lawyers, highly paid lawyers, accountants, who are actually enabling the organized crime in this country. We're going to find a solution to that problem as well. Okay.
One more question, or are we done, colleagues?
I'm here. Thank you so much. Minister James Telo from Kofifi FM. My question is in relation to gang-related violence within our schools locally here. And then also just about the collaboration between JMPD and SAPS. Is that happening in our local communities? What is the plan there?
I will leave the issue of that coordination to the MMC, because he's got strong ideas on this matter. One of the alarming manifestations of this phase of organized crime is that they're recruiting young people, as I said, between the ages of 13 and 19. Many of them are supposed to be in schools, and from what I've been told, some of the gangs are recruiting in the schools, right? And that tells you the extent of the problem and the risks that our society is facing. So we just have to do our best to tackle this problem, which is devastating communities and families.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Thank you for your cooperation. You know that Minister and entourage have to rush over to...
Well, that was the acting minister, just basically briefing us on the outcome of their meeting. But he did mention some concerns about the fact that the gangsters are now recruiting young people when it comes to this issue. And I just want to also quickly bring in MMC Chwaku just to hear his views, because he was also part of the stakeholders.
I work a lot with General Mtombe, a lot, and in terms of the drug bust and everything, we've been doing quite a lot. So those things that SABC not working with JMPD, it's a lie. We are working together. There are issues there and there, but they don't overshadow the work that we're actually doing. So we are a force multiplier, and we actually we are derived under them. So these are our, we can call them our brothers. So in the same house, you'll have problem there and there. But we have we've got the tools, we've got everything that we can use.
It's brothers and sisters. My sister wants to say.
Thank you very much. I was just adding that, remember we signed an agreement between the metro, on metros here, the 3 metros, the province, the Department of Community Safety, and also ourselves as SABS and others. So we're working together in order to, like you say, the force multiplier, where we are this side and criminals are that side. And if we have you and the communities assist us in this regard, we'll be able to deal with this sketch. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, colleagues. We'll see you in Reiger Park.
The acting minister will now be heading to Reiger Park, where he will also be meeting other residents there. But essentially, you know, he spoke about the need to strengthen detective work, to have a more an approach that could work and not just have visibility, but have a planned approach to this issue. He spoke about how these guns are now ending up in the wrong hands, and how gangsters are basically now targeting the young children. They're even recruiting them at schools more than anything. I'm just trying to move away from the car here because the minister and his entourage are now heading to Reiger Park. You must remember, in Reiger Park, we also saw that mass shooting that happened, and he will also be addressing the residents there, also hearing what their concerns are. I must tell you, among other things that residents of Westbury were even saying was that maybe the army should be deployed to the area so that there must be change of some sort. But the minister's just saying that we need a targeted approach to fight gangsterism in Westbury.
Well, thank you very much for that breakdown. SABC News reporter Neria Hlakotsa there, giving us a sense of what came out of police, of course, speaking about Westbury and heading to Reiger Park, and the kind of strategies that need implementation insofar as crime is concerned, really detailing the factor around organized crime here with elaborate business structures, with accountants and highly paid lawyers saying that they are out recruiting young people from the early age of 12 up until 19 years. So we will continue to keep a very close eye on the developments around that story.